Hello everybody and welcome back to restoring the Kubota B2100 compact tractor. It's been a while since the previous episode, so we're way overdue for the next one. So today what I'm going to be doing is rebuilding the tractor, at least we're going to start to. First of all, I've put some front wheels on. These are ones I found, they're pretty good. We next have a brand new track rod and tie rod ends which I've put on here. The old one was just not good enough to keep, as you can see down here. Very rusty, and also the threads had totally disintegrated, so you couldn't adjust it. So it just had to be replaced. But yeah, just going back to the tyres, you can see the tread is pretty good, despite these being used tyres. Certainly a massive improvement to what it used to be. I've been very busy off camera doing loads of stuff, such as sanding stuff down, repainting, and also fitting brand new parts as well. One of the new parts is the bi-speed turn and gauge cable, which had originally snapped. This is brand new, along with some new springs as well. And if I just pull on the lever, you'll see it now operates as it should do. If we trace this down to the front, you can see it goes down to the bi-speed turn box, and it's all operating as it should do there as well. The bi-speed turn system hasn't actually been connected up yet, but it will be in a future video. Right, so what we've got here is the brand new fenders and also the fender stay. These are going to be fitted in this episode. This is what we're going to be doing today, refitting a number of parts. Also, just here we've got the footplate, which has now been all cleaned up, primed and repainted. It is quite tricky just to get it in because you've got to shuffle it past all of the different pedals and levers. But once it's in, it won't be coming out again. So that is the footplate in. It doesn't actually bolt directly down into anything. It is in fact attached to the fenders via these incredibly expensive rubber connectors. So what we're going to do is put the fenders on first of all, then connect the fenders to the plate, and then that'll be one big job done. So here is the first fender, the right hand fender. I've put some grommets on it as well, which you have to do in the mounting holes. And in case you're wondering, it is an M8 bolt which I'm using to do this, 20mm in length. Right, okay, so the fender is now in place. This is the rubber connector. It's an M6 thread, so it's a little bit fiddly. I've got a penny washer on both sides and a nylock nut, and basically it just pulls the two parts together. And then that can just be tightened up. So this is it with all of the three connectors in place. Already it's beginning to take shape. And that is it from the above view. Now this job was a little bit fiddly getting the stay in place properly, but that is all now bolted together, and also the left hand fender is in place as well. Also, I've attached the left hand fender to the footplate the same as the right hand. So that part of the job is finished. You can actually, if you look closely, see the new hydraulic hose hanging out the back. That is for the spool valve. I haven't yet fitted that, but yeah, that is totally new to replace the old rusty one. Right, so just jumping jobs a bit here. We're moving to the front of the tractor because I did recently drain the hydraulic oil. This is a fantastic opportunity to replace the hydraulic oil cooler at the front. So that's the battery out, and you can now see that we have got the old one and the new one next to each other. And what we have to do is unbolt the old one. It's going to be quite tricky just because it is so rusty. And then undo the clamps which hold the hoses to it, and then lift it out. Also, while I'm doing this, what I will be doing is sanding everything down and repainting it to make it look nice and neat before we put the brand new oil cooler in there. I do have a new hose as well. As predicted, very tricky to get that undone. I was actually struggling for about 20 minutes just to remove this hose because it has totally seized onto the pipe, which is really excessive. But finally, it is free. Just need to wiggle it out of there, and we can then get the wire brush out and start cleaning stuff up. You can see how corroded it is. Really bad. The funny thing is as well, you wouldn't usually replace this. It's just because it is so rusty. And here we go, side by side, we've got the old one and the new one. You can see what a dramatic difference there is there. Definitely well worth spending the money to get this fixed in case it does leak in the future. Also, at this stage I'm going to remove the old horn because although it works, it looks bad cosmetically. So I'm going to remove it. I'm going to put a brand new one in there. It's not too expensive, so I think it's going to do it the world of good in looks. There's no point sanding this down and cleaning it up because it just isn't really worth it. A new one is pretty cheap. Although I can't get the connector off. Right, I did finally get the connector off, so what I'm going to do now is sand it all down, and then we'll be able to prime it and paint it with some black gloss paint. Okay, I did do that off screen, but there we go. The paint is now drying, it looks very neat, and I don't think I'll be able to do anything else to it today, so I'll return in a second. And this is now a different day. We are installing the brand new oil cooler. Again, this is going to be pretty difficult though, because the new hose obviously hasn't been used before, and it just makes it quite hard to fit it to the old pipe. But it is possible. It just takes a few minutes of just trying to persuade it onto there. So I did get it on in the end. That is all finished. Here is the battery which I've just cleaned up, and that is going back in again. We'll clamp it in, and that'll be the front part finished for the time being. So there we go, the brand new horn is in place, the battery's in place, and also the brand new oil cooler. That is looking much better. Okay, so what we're going to do now is put the Fender Extenders on. Now you might be thinking, oh, but it's all cracked. Well, don't worry, you don't actually see any of this. This is all underneath the upholstery inside the tractor. The only part you see is the very outside part, and luckily that is in very good condition. So what I'm doing is just fitting it to the new fenders using M6 and M8 bolts. Okay, so it is now done, as you can see there, and I have just trimmed the M6 bolts as they were a little bit too long, and that is fitted as it should be. And the tractor is now starting to take shape. Here is the left hand side of the tractor with the fender on. It does need to be cleaned up a bit though because it is still a bit dirty, but on the whole, pretty good. Right, so what I've done is I've put an order in for a brand new transmission oil filter while we have got the system drained. So I'm removing the old one here and I'm about to fit the new one. It's definitely worth it. I wasn't really too worried about spraying this one as I knew I was going to replace it. In fact, this one is dated 2009, so pretty old. It doesn't mean it has been fitted that long though. So that is the old one off. Just going to put a thin layer of oil on the O-ring and on it goes. Doesn't need to be excessively tight, just so it's obviously not going to come off. It needs to have a good seal. And now with the brand new oil filter in, I am going to take out the fill bung on the back of the tractor, which is a bit stiff because I put a new O-ring on it, and we're going to put the transmission oil in here. In this particular system, it doubles up as the transmission and the hydraulic oil, so you only have to replace the one lot of oil, but it does take a fair bit. In fact, I don't have enough here, so I'm going to have to buy some more. I won't film the whole process of refilling it because it does take a while, but you get the idea. Brand new oil is going into the tractor. In the meantime, I have just been fitting this brand new 7-pin connector I've just wired up to the plate which was on the back, which I have wire brushed and repainted it in Kubota orange. So that is looking almost new. It may feel like we're jumping jobs quite a bit here, but honestly, in real life, things are going very well. It's now time to bring up the tractor cab. We need to start to sand this down, and it's going to be repainted, primed of course first of all, and rust treated, and then it will be time to refit the cab, which I'm sort of dreading. Oh, and also before I forget, I have begun to sand down and repaint these wheels. No, this isn't the one I've done, this is an old one. This is what I've turned it into. I have completed one so far. Yep, this honestly did look as bad as the other one, but that is now finished. So the project is actually on track, it's going pretty well. The cab is going to be pretty difficult, but I'm sure we'll get there in the end, I hope anyway. But that is actually it for this video. that is going to conclude it. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry about the distance between each of these episodes. It is a very slow process, but until the next one, thanks for watching and bye for now.